Why do you think that's true? Just because he's convicted, they don't believe anything now. Why would they believe that?
There are some that will change their vote.
That is exactly what these polls have shown. You know, I think when you are, look, it's any kind of relationship. When you're 100% committed, it's really hard to say you were wrong.
Yeah.
Yes,
you know, people go, why are you still with this guy? And you're just like, well, you know.
We get a politically motivated prosecutor who is allied with the right-wing opponents of my husband, who has literally spent 4 years looking at every telephone...
$30 million.
And more than that now, but looking at every telephone call we've made, every check we've ever written, scratching for dirt, intimidating witnesses, doing everything possible to try to make some accusation against my husband.
I thought he would do this, or I liked what he did there, and it's hard for people to separate. And I did say, and I believe this, and there are a lot of other people, not just me, saying this. Liz Cheney said it recently, that there's a kind of cult-like dimension here.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a walking id. You know, in psychology, you've got the ego and the superego and the id. And so a lot of people go, oh, man, did you hear what he said? It's like watching a constant entertainment show. And so people get hooked into that, and they don't want to give it up because it is, you know, kind of entertaining and interesting.
To watch the chaos.
Well, hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So I already know a lot of you guys are going to be very, very upset with what I'm about to show you. But when the world's most evil people all get together in the same place, you have to pay attention, especially when they're on national TV having full-blown TDS friggin' meltdowns for all of us to see. You just cannot turn that stuff off. You have to watch. I'm going to show you all this, but before we do, guys, thank you so much to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments. Really appreciate the support. We're building an awesome community. If you haven't joined us, help us to continue to grow. Like, comment, subscribe, most importantly, share the channel. So what's got all these evil people panicking, we'll call it? Well, it's polls. They are freaking out about the polls. The polls that are telling them that literally on every issue except for abortion, Democrats are getting absolutely crushed. And honestly, here's an interesting thought on that. Trump actually intimated a month or so ago that he was willing to actually deal on abortion in a way that he said both sides would be happy. We all know that's not possible. But anyway, that pissed off a lot of conservatives, and it had Democrats pretty excited that he was going to, lose his base over it, which of course he won't. So they have to manufacture more issues to terrify the simple-minded liberal voter, right? And the new one is that we have got to fear Donald Trump because he just wants revenge. He's just out for revenge. Well, think about it just for a second. Be, open-minded. What could he possibly want revenge for, if that's true? I don't really know that it's true. I don't think you'd call it revenge because I don't think we should call it revenge. Let's just call it accountability. Assuming that there really has been an 8-year effort of political persecution against just one guy, and starting with the bogus campaign misinformation supplied by Hillary Clinton herself, well, I'd say that accountability isn't something that we should fear at all. But let's hear from someone as reasonable as the great Hillary Clinton. Let's see what she's got to say about this.
I think that your loss to Trump in 2016 will go down in history as one of the most pivotal times in our country, one of the most pivotal moments in our country. And it's still reeling from, Trump's policies, I think, and the deep divisions that he sowed in this country. Mm-hmm. What, in your view, would happen if he were to be reelected?
Oh, I can't even think that, because I think it would be the end of our country as we know it. And I don't say that lightly. I hated losing, and I especially hated losing to him because I had seen so many warning signals during the campaign. But I immediately said, look, we have to give him a chance. We've got to support, the president we have. And I meant it. And I tried really hard. And
just a quick break-in, quick reminder of what supporting the president looks like to Hillary Clinton.
And then literally from his inauguration on, it was nothing but, accusing people of things, making up facts, denying the size of the crowd at his own inauguration. And everything that I worried about, I saw unfolding. And so I think that he'd be even worse now because he was somewhat restrained, believe it or not, in the first term by people who he hired because he thought they would go along with him, and they stood up to him. And so now he is going to, if he were ever near the Oval Office again, find people who have no principles, no conscience, who are totally tied, you know, to his fortunes, literally, and therefore would do whatever he said. And so the wreckage is almost unimaginable. You know, when I was Secretary of State, I used to talk about one and done. And what I meant by that is that people would get legitimately elected, and then they would try to do away with elections and do away with opposition and do away with a free press. And you could see it in countries where, well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Right? And so all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies, would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
We need to listen to
Take him at his word. The man means to throw people in jail who disagree with him, shut down legitimate press outlets, do what he can to literally undermine the rule of law and our country's values.
He will use the military to stop protesters.
He's going to do it. He's not going to do a whole bunch of stuff right now.
Well, not yet.
Not right now. Well, no, not right yet. But we'll find out what more we think can go on when we come back.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's that. I mean, honestly, that's about as much from them as I can take. But let me ask you guys in the comments, how is it that the party that has almost fully transitioned to anti-Jewish, really to the point where they're calling for the resignation of their own president because he supports Israel, how can they sit there and compare anyone else to Hitler? I mean, just look at that image. You have establishment monster Hillary Clinton talking to basically what's become a professional anti-Semite in sunny Hostin about who reminds them of Hitler. Just think about that. And The View, as a group, they can't be serious. You know, how can you sit there with Hillary Clinton while she lies to your face and tells you that she supported Trump from day one for the good of the country, when she absolutely 100% did not support him? She actually made up and manufactured a conspiracy that the government tried to destroy him with. And honestly, most of the truly intellectually corrupted people on the left, and pretty much everybody in that audience, they still all believe it today. They still believe the Russia story. How do you let that opportunity slide by to not just question her just a little bit, just make her feel the heat just a tiny bit? But they're too busy trying to peddle this narrative that Donald Trump has become some sort of military dictator, when all the man actually said was that when he wins, because he believes he will, he believes we're going to see protest and violence that makes January 6th look like a walk in the park. And he's probably right. Everything we've seen from the left indicates he's exactly right. And he wants the military available to protect the protesters themselves and anyone or anything that they might actually try to harm. And honestly, he's probably exactly right. You know, anyone who doesn't think that there's a high likelihood of that happening is probably just not paying attention to everything they've shown us for almost over 3 years now. But anyway, that's just my take, guys. I thought you'd appreciate seeing this. Actually, I didn't think you'd appreciate it. I thought you'd probably crush your computers. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.